Hello everyone and welcome to this special video celebrating the channel surpassing 10,000 subscribers. Just for something a little fun, 3 months ago I asked you all to send me your questions which I'd answer in a short video. I've sifted through the comments on the channel and my emails and finally managed to throw them all together. Before I start, I just wanted to say that your support means the absolute world to me. Making these videos is not an easy task, and to get as far as I have amongst the sea of YouTubers trying to do the same thing has been amazing. I never thought I would make it this far, and it's all thanks to you. Of course, I want to continue and help this channel grow, maybe even one day do this full time. Until then, I'll keep pushing. All I can ask is that you keep watching, sharing and shouting from the rooftops about this channel. The more eyes, the better. Once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are all legends. Right, time to answer some questions. Now, a few of you did send in some similar questions which I'll be collating my answers together for, but still reading out what people sent because, you took the time to do so, and I would never leave you out. The first set of questions involved franchises I plan on covering. Sebastian Yoshikage 6352 said, "You ever thought of making videos on different series like Devil May Cry?" Joshua Anderson 3196 also said, "Awesome, I love your videos." As for a question, what game franchises are you planning on making videos on? And finally, Red Herring said, "Do you plan on doing deep dives into not horror games?" Without a shadow of a doubt, I of course plan on doing deep dives on other franchises and genres. As you will have already seen, I recently started to dip my toes into other genres with Street Fighter 6. Devil May Cry is something I'd also definitely love to do at some point, along with Metal Gear Solid and maybe even Final Fantasy. This channel did gain notoriety with the Silent Hill franchise, but I don't want to be known just for that, as much as I love it. Of course, other things on my list include the Resident Evil series, Bioshock, and Parasite Eve. 2 more questions came in asking why I started a deep dive channel in the first place. Kuchionoko asked, "What got you interested in making deep dive videos, and do you have any future plans to do other content, like how you've started discussion videos?" Congrats on the 10k, I'm really happy to be a part of you reaching this milestone. May you continue to grow and continue making great content. Jewel Shop Tree similarly asked, "My question would be, what made you want to start a deep dive channel and why start with Silent Hill 2? As a side note, your Silent Hill 2 video is the first one that introduced me to your channel, and having come to it hot off the heels of finishing Silent Hill 2, it was very enjoyable and informative. Keep up the good work." Finally, Shawus2299 asked, "What got you into making videos?" Put simply, Silent Hill 2 was the main reason I wanted to make deep dives. Silent Hill 2 is probably one of my all-time favourite games, but when I spoke to people about it, often they would tell me that it was scary and decent enough, but they had no real clue what was going on. So I decided to take what I knew, do a little research and put together a video explaining everything. As soon as I started doing it, I fell in love with the process and realised, after all the feedback, that I'd actually done a good job. That's what pushed me to continue. I love explaining things and knowing I'm responsible for essentially creating a library of facts for people to access. Plus, I love entertaining people, so meshing all these together is just, as the kids say, chef kiss. I'd always had an interest in making videos, starting a long time ago making music videos with my friends, trying my hand at comedy, and for a long time doing let's plays and other videos. Nathan Fraudick 5840 asked, "What are your thoughts on the Asian versus Western video games and why the Asian video games are losing their popularity?" Personally, I wasn't aware that Asian video games are losing their popularity, but to be fair, I've not really looked at the stats. I can only speak personally and in regards to my general circles, that there doesn't seem to be a swing in one way or the other, especially for me. I love big JRPGs for instance, despite not often having the time for them these days. In recent years, I've absolutely adored the Persona 5 games, falling in love with the original and then Royal, before moving on to Strikers. Capcom as a company also produces some of the best games out there, and I'd even go as far to say that for me personally, Asian games have better stories overall. Still saying that, Western games such as God of War and Gears of War, just to name a couple, also have some great stories and gameplay. There's space for both, and I don't think either is going to take the crown anytime soon. There are giants on both sides. Artisan Mirage asked, do you think there should be a wider consensus that Silent Hill 1 to 3, particularly Silent Hill 2, should be considered and even respected as high art? The dictionary states that art is, and I quote, the expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, typically in a visual form such as painting or sculpture, producing works to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. In that sense, not just Silent Hills 1 to 3, but all video games in my opinion should be treated at least as art. In terms of high art and low art, which I'm not going to pretend to completely understand the definition, but if I had to make that distinction for Silent Hill 2, I'd definitely say it was high art for sure. The terminology is subjective though, and everyone is going to have a different opinion on what high and low art is. One person's trash is another person's treasure, or something to that effect. Mendez000001 asks, what's your favourite franchise that's not horror? Well, this one's easy for me, and it's without a doubt fighting games. I've been in love with fighting games for as long as I can remember. I even had a dream growing up that I was going to make video games, and my first one would be a spiritual successor to Street Fighter 2. Obviously, Capcom didn't need my help. Nathan46 asked, do you watch much TV, and if so, what is your favourite TV show? Well, this one's simple for me. It has to be Breaking Bad. I love the concept of the fall of a human being, showcasing that all it takes is some bad news and anyone is capable of doing some questionable things. Walter White's transition from wholesome science teacher to power-hungry drug dealer is one that needs to be experienced, and the hubris that comes with it. If I had to make another suggestion, Mad Men is another amazing watch. If you find yourselves with a gap in things to watch or do, then both of these shows are worth your time. Deus Jubileus asked me a few questions. Firstly, what do you hope to achieve with your YouTube channel in the future, and how do you think you'll evolve your content? Well, naturally, I want to grow the channel, and my next subscriber milestone is 100k. We're a long way off, but we'll get there one day, I'm sure. I want to do additional content to supplement the deep dives which I've slowly begun introducing to the channel, such as mini discussion videos, the new Wax Lyrical series where I chat with guests about specific games, and then there's game reviews, which I've also started doing. Eventually, I'd of course like to do full-on interviews and have some plans in the future for certain voice actors and other people in the industry. Secondly, Deus Jubileus asked, which video did you enjoy making the most? Conversely, which was the hardest or most frustrating to research and produce? Unsurprisingly, Silent Hill 2 was probably the one I enjoyed the most, although given the chance, I probably would record it with a new audio track, as it's the one thing I'm not happy with. In terms of the hardest frustrating to produce, I'd probably say it was my recent Alan Wake video. There was a rabbit hole of information to look into, and I really wanted to make sure everything was correct. Naturally, I always fear I may let the fans down, so I'll change things over and over, listen back to the final product, only to find I'd said something wrong or it didn't sound clear, then spend what seemed like an eternity recording a new track and trying to match it to the old one. This happened a lot with the Alan Wake video. Third question, off-channel related. What upcoming games are you most excited for and why? Well, naturally I'm really excited for Alan Wake 2 as it looks absolutely incredible. It looks to be a culmination of Remedy's best work, and they really are leaning heavily into the horror aspect this time, so yeah, this is right up my street. There's Spider-Man 2 coming as well, which, you know, I'm a massive Spider-Man fan, so this is a no-brainer for me. Other things include the new RoboCop game, which actually looks really, really good. I wasn't sold initially, but after playing it, it really gave me that nostalgia vibe. There's also Persona 5 Tactica coming, which, as mentioned earlier, I'm a big Persona fan. And then there's the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection, and it goes without saying that they're some of the best games in existence. So, of course, any chance to play them again is welcome. In the new year, so far, Final Fantasy Rebirth. That's definitely one that I am going to be hammering immensely when it comes out. I really am looking forward to seeing where they're taking the story now. The fourth and final question from Deus Jubileus: are there any specific games that have had a significant impact on you personally? Now, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but of course it's got to be Silent Hill 2. The story is so emotional and well executed. Another game that people don't often look at, but I loved, was Asura's Wrath, which, while not having the best gameplay, the story resonated with me being a father and that I would do anything to protect my daughter. I don't recommend it, but someone out there will have a YouTube video with the story, so give it a watch. In recent years, Death Stranding had me in pieces towards the end. Oh, and then there's Nier Automata. I challenge you to get the full ending and not break down in tears. Mundus simply asked, pineapple on pizza, yes or no? I mean, it's easy. It's a yes. Please don't crucify me in the comments. Final question I'm going to answer today was from Zykrafren. Apologies if I've butchered the pronunciation of your name there. How did you feel this year? Any enlightenment? That's an interesting question and not one I was expecting. How I feel is always hard. I suffer with extreme anxiety and depression, which, while I've learned to control more so these days, there's always that up and down cycle. Talking about it helps, and encouraging others to share also helps. I've had a few negative things happen to me this year which has slowed me down, but there's also been a few positives as well. In short, I'm still riding the life roller coaster. I'm not quite sure I'm enlightened per se, but my takeaway from everything that's happened is that you should never let the daily routine and the humdrum of life get in the way of what's around you. Appreciate what you have and who is in your life. Live, laugh and love like tomorrow is your last day, and never take anything for granted. We spend far too long in our routines worrying about tomorrow. Concentrate on today and make the best of it. If in the process you can make others' lives around you a little easier, then do so. We are all going through this journey together. Right. Thank you everyone that sent in questions. I may do another one of these in the future after the channel hits another milestone, but it won't be a regular thing. I'd like to give a massive shout out to my Patreons for your support. You are all absolutely amazing. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you like what you've watched today, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also like this video. As always, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who's been watching Deep Dives, everyone that's subbed to the channel, helping it hit 10,000 subscribers, and also a big thank you for all your support, comments and general feedback. You are all fantastic. Please keep the comments and feedback coming. Also, you can keep up to date on my musings over on Twitter at DonPedroX. I try to post on there regular updates on upcoming videos as well as other thoughts from my brain. If you like what I do and fancy supporting me, I have a Patreon. I'd like to do these videos more often, so any support you can give would be amazing. Finally, always remember, do your fucking research. Right. See you next time.